So hello there, guys and gals out in interwebs land. I want to talk to you today a little bit about cryptocurrency from a different angle than I think that I've talked about it before. The main theme, I guess, we've talked about before, but the angle I want to come at it from is a little bit different. And maybe it'll help some of y'all that seem to be stuck in the mud on this issue. So there's a whole plethora of why Bitcoin's a scam, why it's going to crash, why it's going to go away, why it's going to be regulated to oblivion, etc. out there. One of the most common ones, though, is, well, you know what? It ain't going to go away, but it's really just a trap. See, the New World Order is actually Satoshi Nakamoto, and they're going to use it to enslave humanity with a one-world currency. Yeah, we'll get to explaining why that's stupid, even if it's true. At least it's a stupid reason to not be involved with cryptocurrency. If you're right about that, well, we'll get to it. But I want you to think back to the dawning of the internet. You know, when people were on morning news TV channels trying to figure out what the @ sign meant and what an email was and what www was and what it meant and things like that. If you look up, it's pretty funny. You can find videos from around 94 to 96 with these people who are supposed to be reading you the news and should be telling you about this cutting-edge new technology that was going to very soon completely transform life as we know it on the planet with no fucking idea what it even was. I mean, really, they had no idea. It's funny, like Good Morning America, Today Show, shit like that. You listen to these people drivel on about what is this? Oh, what is that symbol? Like, and you realize, like, even back then, you shouldn't have trusted them. Well, the internet didn't really go through the first phase of this process that Bitcoin and all cryptocurrencies went through, which is it doesn't work. It's never going to work. By the time internet was actually available, you couldn't say it didn't work because everybody was throwing, you've got mail, AOL discs in their computer and signing up for, internet and getting on the internet and, using that archaic technology. Right? So they knew it worked. But very, very quickly popped up a group of people that said, what? Man, that internet, let me wrap my full hat a little tighter. That internet's a trap, man. If you get involved with that, they're going to track you. They're going to control humanity with the internet. Now, do you think maybe the government thought that might be what they would be able to do with the internet? Do you think that maybe there are some ways that the internet is used by government and media to control people? Sure. Do you think they have complete control of the internet? Are you not on the internet listening to this right now? Or if you're listening to the podcast version, you're listening to it because it came across the internet? Has not the internet empowered an asshole like me to have freedom of speech in a way that was never possible prior to the internet and podcasting and videos and things like that online? Even if the government thought, yeah, this will be great, man. We'll charge people for email and they'll pay for it. That didn't work out. That was actually a plan, by the way. The government thought that they would create like a government-sanctioned email and that you would pay to use it when corporations were giving it away for the right to put a little tagline or strapline of advertising in it, or for a few bucks you could run your own server. Yeah, they thought you would pay for it because they're that stupid. And they do use the internet to track people's movements and things like that. But I'm going to ask you a simple question. If you care enough, are there not ways where that you can make it very simply where they cannot track jack shit about you? Are there not VPNs? Do we not have the Tor network? Oh, Tor network's been compromised by the CIA. Yeah, if you're stupid about how you use it, and if you're the subject of an ongoing CIA investigation, and specifically targeted as an individual, sure. Or plotting to blow up planet Earth with the Imodium P-32 space modulator, maybe. But the average person using the Tor browser is pretty damn invisible, and there's VPNs, and now we have what are called distributed VPNs. That's back to blockchain and cryptocurrency, and you're not interested in that, right, if you're one of these people. You mean there's a distributed VPN? You don't even know what that means. What it means is a VPN that can't be hacked. It means a VPN that your VPN provider can't sell you out like they've done. So there's ways. And it's not, you don't have to be that technical to use them, where you can do whatever you want online and not be tracked. You can even go over to Zuckercock's Facebook, I wanted to call it something else, and you can go over there and use that, and you can do things where they can't track you off of Facebook by installing simple browser extensions. So all of this thing, well, the government's going to do this, the government's going to do it. The government's going to do what the government's going to do. Whether you get involved or not, they're going to do it. So here's how I look at this. If cryptocurrency, man, it really is a plot, and the global banksters, first of all, they would have moved a little faster in getting on board instead of shitting on it for the last 11 years before getting on board with it, wouldn't they? But let's say it is, and they played the game really, really well. And now Goldman Sachs is coming out with a stable coin built on Algorand. The US dollar tether is now being built on Algorand. We have all these different projects and all these different things going on where, yes, the mainstream scum are getting involved because they see money and they like it. And they're going to make, let's say that you're right. You've got that full hat wrap really good, and they are going to make Bitcoin the global world currency. And everything's going to bin off, and then they're going to track everything you do, man. Great. Then you know what will happen? Bitcoin will be worth $1 million a Bitcoin. That's what will happen. That's what that leads at minimum. And then I'm going to be saying, hi, this is Jack Spirko coming to you from the island of Fuck-Offistan, if that happens. So that's okay with me. And you know what? When I convert that money to fiat to buy the island of Fuck-Offistan, I'll pay the income tax on it. I don't give a shit. You're like, well, if they can tax it, then it's over. Really? Because last time I checked, when you make money on a stock or a mutual fund or a commodity trade, they tax that. That didn't seem to go anywhere, did it? But man, they'll be able to track you. And if you're right, then it won't matter because you'll be in fiat, US dollars, in their cryptocurrency. And if you never touch Bitcoin or any of this other stuff over here, they're still going to track everything you do. In fact, you're going to have absolutely no way that you're going to be able to counter it. You won't be able, you'll be the person that's online bitching about being tracked that doesn't understand. You can just install a VPN and make that go away. That will be you. That's where that leads. But if you start using cryptocurrency, not only can you take some of these, larger digital assets like Bitcoin or Ethereum and stockpile some reserves in there for the appreciation value, you might actually start learning that there's ways to do things that are anonymous and untraceable. Well, they're going to sell you out, man. Okay, so you tell me how a completely decentralized exchange that couldn't tell you what account you have if you asked them and didn't, unless you gave them your username, they would. I mean, I'm talking Polarity. I had a head guy from Polarity on. I said, so can you tell me which account is mine? He had no idea what account is yours. If you use your public email for your account, sure. If we know to look for it in the first place, sure. But you could go on these DEX exchanges and you can exchange cryptocurrency with other parties and counterparties without anybody knowing who anybody is, and it's completely secure and it works. Oh, and by the way, unlike your more conventional exchanges, you do hold your keys. You basically have what you would think of as a cloud-based wallet. And that means that you have complete control over your currency at all times. You never have to give away any true identifying information. You use 2FA for security, so you don't even have a phone number attached to your account. And any dimwit can set up a Proton Mail account, and you probably should if you're listening to this video right now and you care about privacy. It's not a perfect solution if the other party's not using it, but it's a start. Unless you're hosting your own and you have your own encryption. Just saying. Right? Like, we have the ability to counteract every single alarm bell that these people are trying to set off. But I'm back to what's really going on here. These are people that cannot accept the change that's happening in the world. And so they'll find any excuse they can to not touch it. And you're okay doing that if you want to. I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen. First of all, you're going to be even angrier a few years from now when you realize how well you could have done getting involved with this just a little bit. And I always say, I don't know the immediate future, so make damn sure you don't put any money into this you can't afford to lose. This is your Vegas money, your fast food restaurant money. This is money that if it goes away, you won't care. I don't expect it to, but I don't know. Maybe you're stupid and you'll invest in some shit coin. I don't know. But if you stick to solid projects and you use common sense and you learn a little bit and go a little bit at a time, you're going to be mad about that. But the other thing that's going to happen is you're going to look in your bank account, and your bank account is no longer going to be able to get cash out of it, and you're going to be using a cryptocurrency whether you want to or not, and they damn sure will track everything that you do. And you will have no alternatives. And they can try to shut this down, but it's a lot like the internet. I guarantee you, the utility that the government gets from the internet is high. But once it was set loose, they were like, oh, fuck, what have we done? That's why they're doing all this censorship and shit like that. And you know what? It's not going to work either. You have these alternative, and I don't even call them alternative. I would call them new social media platforms that are coming out, that are blockchain based, that are going to tie into the power of IPFS. And you don't even know what that means, half of you. What it means is, go ahead and shut it down. Good luck with that. That's what it means. We're moving into a world where you're going to have basically a bifurcation of society. You're going to have people that are technologically educated and dum-dums. And I don't mean dum-dum in an insulting way. I know it sounds like it, but they're going to be technological dum-dums. Oh, they'll be able to work the apps on their phone. They'll be able to send an email. They'll be able to do their little job monitoring their fellow citizens in a city that's a high-tech minimum wage job, right? World Economic Forum has that plan for you so that you can get trained on how to sit behind a monitor and monitor your fellow citizens in a smart city. You can go do that, and you'll be monitored too. Because that's what's coming. The people that are saying, like, the New World Order, I hate that term. I think it's an asinine term. What you have is a technocratic oligarchy running the world. And you've had that for as long as there's been communications across the world. Where you could get the day you can get a message from Pennsylvania to Germany in seconds, not weeks, we ended up with a global technocratic oligarchy. They were just using the technology of the time. Today, the technology is a lot more advanced. And they do want total control because that's what people with that much money, here's what you got to understand. You got to start thinking about it this way. If you are a freaking billionaire or you are a politician that's 70 years old, that's been in office for 40 years, and you're not ready to be like, you know what, I've got enough. I'm going to just like go off and feed seagulls ice cream or something like that down in Florida and enjoy the rest of my life. If you're still pursuing power and money after a certain level, there's only one, actually there's two words for you. You can be one or the other or both. A fucking psychopath, a fucking sociopath, or you're a sociopathic psychopath. That's the only people, like when you have a guy, like people say they feel bad for Biden because he's so like lost his marbles and his family's using him for power. I don't feel bad for him because he's a freaking psychopath. Anybody that seeks power that long is a psychopath. And I don't care what initial comes after their name. Most people in this country, if you said, you know what, tomorrow morning you can be president, they'd be like, fuck that, I don't want nothing to do with that. Most people in the world, if you said, here's $1 million, no strings attached, it's yours, they'd be like, holy shit, thank you, that's earth-changing. You said, here's $10 million, they're like, holy crap! But there's a point where they'd say, I don't want any more. I don't even want the responsibility of giving away anymore. Please give the rest of this to somebody else because they're not a freaking sociopath. People that have $4 billion, $5 billion, $6 billion and they still want more are psychopaths. And that's the truth. It's not about a new world order. It's about a bunch of psychopaths who have risen to the top of the social and economic structure because being a psychopath works. We always think of the psychopath as some knife-wielding moron in a prison, drooling, foaming like he's got rabies. Most psychopaths are very intelligent, and they learn very quickly that they have to suppress their outward appearance, and then they pursue careers, generally in finance or politics. And then they become very successful at it because they'll do anything and everything to get what they want. And they always think in the beginning, well, I'll just get this much and it'll be good enough. But it's never enough. It's like playing a video game for these people. Well, I got level 100, but man, I got to stay up a little later and get 101. It becomes that. They're fucking with people's lives. They're destroying entire global economies, but they don't care. They just want more. They don't need more. They have no use for more. They just want it. And those are the people that are seeking control. And they also believe that they're altruistic. They really believe that you're too fucking stupid to be responsible for your own life. They really believe that. They really think you are an idiot that cannot be trusted with true freedom. And therefore, for your own protection, we have to protect you by not letting bad things happen to you, by letting you do the things that you want to do, because you can't possibly be trusted. And those of you who hold your breath on this, that's where you're going to end up. Under the control you fear will be the control you have in your life. because you will not have a plan B. And there may be a point where if you're 100% in the fiat world and you want to get over in this space, that window starts closing, and maybe if it doesn't close all the way, it gets very narrow and very difficult to get through. Because those of us who are already in this space, we're going to have our own markets, our own commerce, our own exchanges, own everything. And 5 years from now, frankly, I don't know how many people that are on the outside we're going to trust as a group. And let me tell you how some of this stuff's going to work. There will be consensus mechanisms as to whether or not you're allowed through the door. If we have consensus mechanisms that prevent us from counterfeiting a unit of currency, we can certainly have consensus methods that keep you from getting in because, man, what's up? Why is it 2028 and you just want to be part of this? Are you one of them? Are you one of those people with the minimum wage slave job monitoring your fellow citizens? You know, we're over here in Fuckofistan. We don't need you. And you guys think I'm kidding. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not telling you have to do this. What I'm telling you is if you're like a horse with blinders on, if you're like the three monkeys, hear no, see no, speak no, and every time somebody tells you about this, you put your fingers in your ears and go blah, 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 you're a fool. You're ignoring the single largest transfer of economic power that has ever occurred on the history of planet Earth. But go ahead. Go ahead. The later to the game you are, the better it is for us that have been sitting at the table for years. I'm done with this again for a while. We'll talk about something totally different tomorrow. How about how to make a really great cup of coffee without relying on what we think of as a coffee maker that you have to plug into the wall? Take care, guys. I'll be back tomorrow.